Hello, welcome back to Blender CC LiveNoding. In this episode, I want to show you the difference between static PLY and then animated PLY that you can import into Blender. So I'm using Blender 3.1.1. The 3.2 might come with the custom PLY, but basically I'll show you. Okay, this is the custom PLY one, and you can simply import any static scan. For example, this one, I was using Sitescape app on the iPhone. Okay, it comes like this, just like a vertices. It doesn't render yet. You need to switch to cycles. Let me save very quickly. This is a static point cloud, and I will try to fix the alignment. This is basically like a flower that's stacked, kind of like a decorations in the city. And you can clean up the points. We can do that a bit later, but I will create a material for this. And I need to use geometry nodes, turn the mesh to points. Okay, this will actually render. We just don't have the color yet. The point might be too big. Okay, and we need to assign the material, set material, assign the material we just created. And if you want to observe the spreadsheet, the point cloud should have cull. This is a custom color. This is not actually vertex color. We don't have vertex color, but we can use it in the shader under attribute. Just type in cull, plug the color there, and we should have our point cloud. And we can give it some light. Yeah, and if you want to get rid of some of the points at the bottom, usually I go to the top view, go to edit mode, and I will use B selections just to cut around this. And just delete vertices. You might want to turn on this X-ray mode, because sometimes some points is just overlapping, and you want to just delete it. Yeah, something like that. You can also use different tools like lasso tool. Select lasso and you just select it like that. Okay. You can do it like this. Select your objects and then Command I to invert it and delete the rest. So we have our objects. We can play around with this, make the radius maybe smaller or bigger. You can play with the shader itself, metallic, roughness, or you can even make it like a balloon. Turn on transmission so it's kind of like transparent. So a lot of potential there. So if you want to have, so you don't need to do this again and again. Actually, you can just import another PLY. For example, my hand from the other day. Normally it was kind of tricky to import things and then just assign it, but once you created one of the material, you just need to assign the geometry nodes and should be good to go. You have this balloony type Oh, you can pass the radius outside, so you can control each one of them separately. Now you can see my hand on the keyboard. This is all the point cloud taken using the iPhone. There are a couple of apps that's able to do this. Sitescape, and there's also Everypoint. There's also, I think, Record 3D and Haggis. If you have like a sequence of animated point cloud, you can use a Record 3D app. It's a highly recommended. So this is one example. I took this dancing performance of these teenagers, and then they're doing this dance, DDR dance, on the machine, and I just capture it using point cloud. You can see it's animated. You can see the CyclesX on this version of Blender is really fast, so it can load this, I think around 50 gigabyte. No, it's maybe 5 gigabyte. I don't know how many point clouds here, but it captured the actions it captured the whole scenes up to 5 meters and turning it into point cloud. And my setup using geometry nodes is like this. So using the frame number, compare it with the index of every instance under the collection. So we have like multiple PLY here. I just put it inside collections. Okay, and then capture the attributes index and then compare it with the frame number. So I basically delete everything else that's not on the, so you can see, okay, it's the geometry is actually changing and being deleted on the fly based on this setup. And then as a result, just convert that instance into points. I also use this merge by distance. This is actually a handy thing to do. You can merge and get less points. So it's kind of like reducing the number of points on the fly. And I randomize the points. So you can use the same technique. So let me try to show you. File, import PLY, downloads. Where is it? Yesterday. It's a bunch of PLY. Let me grab 10 of them. So it's importing multiple PLY. This might take a while actually. Each one of them is 10 megabyte. If you have 100, it's gonna be 1 gig. It's gonna store everything into the RAM, into Blender, and then you can then convert each one of them into point cloud that you can render. I should have just imported 5. Yeah, but this takes a while. Hopefully it's finished soon. Okay, we got this point cloud. All right, I think I need to fix some of this. Anyway, let's save really quickly. Point cloud animated. I'm going to append the nodes from the other setup. So instance Flipbook, just append it. Hopefully it doesn't bring everything. Oh, it brings everything into the stage. One thing you don't want. Just gonna delete this collection, I think. Delete hierarchy, delete collections. We're gonna lose everything. We're gonna put this into new collections. I name it collection 2. Create a new cube. Assign the geometry nodes and just assign this instance flipbook. Take a look at the geometry node setup. We're gonna point this into collection number 2, and the flipbook should be ready. I think there's also rotate 90 degrees inside this, so it's pretty handy. It comes with everything, including the material. So our point cloud should just came. So 10 frames of point cloud ready to be rendered using Cycles. So this is the camera where I was standing and capturing the performance. Take a look at this and give it some light. So this is the cool thing about point cloud. You can render this as a sphere, and it actually casts a shadow. There's an extra objects there. Oh, that's the original. You can hide it. So we basically, so this is done and ready to be rendered. So yeah, so once again, we have collections of PLY imported. Each one of them is a simple different objects geometry, and it's gonna act like a flipbook. It's gonna look at the frame that we currently in, compare the frame with the index of the instance of the geometry, and just delete everything else that's not on that frame. Then the rest of them is simply convert into points. Just merge by distance if you want to have less or you want to have more points. Set the point radius if you want to. Just give like some randomizations and set the material, and you're done. Just play around with the materials. Should be good. Usually for the objects I'm rendering, I'm just gonna assign it with the material we are using, so we can just quickly jump into the materials. And let's see. Here I'm experimenting with metallic and roughness. If you don't want any of that, if you just want to render the emissions, just plug the color into emissions and just plug this into the surface. Should be good to go. This is capturing animated point cloud, so this could take a lot of memories. Normally when dealing with point cloud, if it's like a static, like an environment, like if you go down the stair, you capture the whole building, point cloud is really good for that. It's giving you like a, it's not too details, but you kind of get the space. So I think it's really good for background. For performance like this, if you are actually using the front part of your iPhone, the true depth, that's give you more details, but that's actually good for like a FaceTime using point cloud. If you use like a record 3D app, but yeah, but it's just a quick demo, so you can use the like animated one. This is using the LiDAR, so I was standing there with my iPhone and capturing this within 5 meters, whatever within 5 meters. So this is the result. It's pretty cool that you can just play back these animations. This is like 15 frames per second, I think. Yeah, it's kind of giving like a kind of abstract result. Okay, so yeah, that's basically it. Hopefully you find this useful. Thanks again for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.